I'm Morgan from Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a look at the NOMATIC Peter McKinnon Luma camera sling, which I've been testing for 4 weeks. If you find this video helpful, hit subscribe so that we can continue making content that helps you travel smarter. Let's jump in. So, taking a look at the materials of this sling, I should say, it is made from a 900D polyox fabric with an additional water-resistant coating, just to ensure that everything stays nice and protected from the elements, rain, snow, etc. The material feels pretty smooth, not soft, but also like not super rugged. Just kind of like standard nylon, I'd say. The zippers on this are very smooth, even around the corners. I never had any issues getting anything in or out, which I definitely appreciated. As for branding, there's just a simple Peter McKinnon and NOMATIC tab right here on the front. And this is their sage color. It comes in 3 other colors, a black, stone, and a rust, which is like a reddish orange. And then all of them also have these attachment points made from like nylon webbing, which are super secure. There's 2 layers of nylon webbing, and it just kind of ensures that they don't like pop off and none of your gear falls off or out of it as well. They recommend using like a large carabiner or a shock cord, and I think the shock cord definitely works better here just because it's like a little tight getting in and out of these attachment points. So just something to keep in mind. As for methods of carry, in addition to it being a sling with traditional shoulder strap for shoulder carry or cross-body carry, there is also a grab handle, which also functions as a luggage pass-through. It is made of just webbing. It's very, very minimally padded, so it's not like the most comfortable. And one thing that I noticed was it's got like a weird orientation to it that kind of just threw me off, where you hold it here and then the zippers come in front. And so apparently this was done specifically so that you can hold the sling while also still getting into it. And like I mentioned before, this does act as like a luggage pass-through. So you slip this over your luggage and then it's really, really secure. And I really liked that because it felt like it was kind of included like a like an attachment for the luggage itself, and it sat without any issues. It was very secure. It didn't like move or bump around or anything like that when it was on the luggage. So I felt that that worked really, really well, and I definitely appreciated that. As for the harness system, it is super smooth as well. These are really easy to adjust, which I definitely appreciated. And they use this dual pivot rivets to help ensure that it conforms to your body as best as possible, which I think did a decent job. So this is what it looks like on. As you can see, it's got a nice form that takes up a decent amount of space. The pill-shaped body of it does like a decent job of contouring to different areas of like the back, or if you swing it to the front. Like I mentioned before, this works really well for like adjusting it on the fly if you want it looser or if you wanted it to be like a little bit tighter. And because of the shape of it, it can get like a little clunky, especially because it's pretty rigid and solid. It doesn't like expand or compress at all, so it's kind of like what you get. But aside from that, it's pretty comfortable. So taking a look at the inside, starting with the secondary compartments, there really is only just one. It is right here on top. It's got like a little flap over it to kind of protect it, ensure a little bit more of like weatherproofing. And it has a zipper that doesn't fully span the entirety of the pocket, but all of this is actually usable space. And one thing to note is that this zipper is like a little bit, like the zipper is fine, it's just the pull tab that is like a little small. So if you have bigger hands, you might have to work a little bit harder in order to like actually grip it and get in and like zip or unzip it. Inside, I just have memory cards, a pair of AirPods, and some chapstick. It is pretty tight. It doesn't have like a lot of like expansion or a lot of room, and the inside is just basic nylon. There's no like soft touch material, so I'd be careful with like screens, or if you wanted to use this as like a sunglass compartment, I would just be a little bit cautious because it doesn't have any like soft protective lining, and this isn't the most padded, so depending on like where you are and what you're doing, bumping into it might, you know, break the screen or break your glasses, which would not be great. Moving on to the main compartment, this it opens like clamshell style, and it has dual zippers. So you can kind of anchor to either side depending on how you prefer to have it. And like I mentioned before, the zippers are really smooth. I really appreciated that. But one of my favorite features of this bag is the use of their magnets. So right here, these two are magnets, and then there are magnets here as well. And they just work so like if you close the top, it is secure, not the most secure, but it is a lot easier to get into. And it basically keeps this lid shut, which is really nice, especially if you're like doing a lens change, or if you just need to get in and out really quickly, or if it's like raining and you just need to be able to get in and then like cover it up really quickly. I found that that worked really, really well, and meant I didn't have to like zip and unzip it to ensure that everything like stayed like protected. Inside on the lid is a zipper that opens to 2 mesh pockets, as you can see like right here. They are stretchy enough. They do a decent job. Inside I just have a battery. And then the main compartment, I just have a Canon EOS R with a 24-105 lens, and then a 35mm. Aside from that, this basically just functions as like a nice like camera cube. They have 2 included dividers that attach via Velcro and are fairly comfortable. They have like a nice amount of padding with this felt lining to help make sure everything stays like scratch proof and protected. And I found like when I wasn't using this as like a dedicated camera backpack, or camera sling, I'm sorry, I could just stick this here and they stay out of the way pretty much. And so they're always here when I need them, but not like in the way basically. Aside from that, this basically was just functioning as like a standard like storage cube for my camera. And I found that one of the ideal ways to use this is actually as like a camera packing cube. I would put my camera in here and then close it up, and then I could put this in a suitcase, and because of its solid structure and the included padding, everything felt very secure and very protected. So when I put it in like a luggage or like a suitcase, I was never really concerned about, you know, being thrown around in like airports or anything like that. And then when I got to my destination, I had a sling that I could use for like quick, easy access. So I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. One last thing I will say is when putting items in this top, like this pocket right here, and then this pocket, you have to be careful just because they tend to eat into each other's storage space. And even like this main compartment with this, I noticed if I put my camera in, I don't know if you can see it, it sticks up a little bit to the point where I couldn't put anything in this pocket, otherwise it would bump into the camera. So I had to like make sure that I was very strategic with where I placed what and how. This is a mirrorless camera, but it's like probably on the bigger side, and it doesn't even like fit this way. This is the only way that it can fit, and that was just something that I noticed, especially like having batteries or like SD cards. They tend to share space, so just something to keep in mind. So there you have it, the pneumatic Peter McKinnon camera sling. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. I'll see you in the next video.